Hey, what's going on, kings and queens out there? This is your boy, Rodney Kirkwood, aka The Living Sword, coming to you by way of 12 Kings. Check this out. Got a question. When you take inventory of your life and where it truly is when it comes to a relationship and how you're representing Christ, what really comes to mind? Because most cases what come to mind is how we're been used to represent Him, right? You know, we're supposed to be what? Conformed to the image of the Son of God. We're supposed to imitate what the Son of God has done while He was here on the earth. So, when you think about that, what comes to mind, really? Do you think about how you are, hands-on in helping someone? Or whether you're giving someone food when they don't have anything to eat? Or you providing shelter for a person who has no place to stay? Going to the prisons and ministering to those who are locked up and sometimes feeling hopeless? You know, what really comes to mind? Do you put yourself in that position? Which is a good position. Don't get me wrong. Those things are good. But have you ever thought about the fact that you also win others through how you suffer? And I'm just not talking about any storm or trial that comes your way where God places you into an area of testing, where He allows the enemy to come in and attack. I'm not talking about just regular sickness. I'm not talking about losses of a job, which are good testimonies to have, good positions to be in, where God can use you, where He can what? Have the glory. But think about this when it comes to suffering. Christ suffered on the way to the cross, while He performed miracles, while He was spreading the gospel, while He was giving the good news. What happened? He was talked about. He was ridiculed. He was lied upon. He was blasphemed. He was ostracized. And we know the story on the night before He was crucified. How He was beaten. How He was spit upon. How He was flogged. All those horrific things that happened to Christ on His way to the cross. Think about that. But it was through His suffering where He drew many to God. Despite what others was doing to Him, He still loved them anyway. And He made that one famous statement on the cross that said that, what? Father, forgive them because they know not what they do. Where do you fit in that picture? If we're supposed to imitate Christ, do you not know that part of that imitation is for you to suffer at the hands of someone else? That's an opportunity where they can see their wrongdoing. Sometimes people have to see the disturbance on your face, the sorrow in your voice. They have to see you in pain that they inflicted upon you, to in some cases recognize the error of their ways. Oh, you've really been used by God then. See, instead of striking back, instead of throwing a blow of retaliation, instead of giving someone a piece of your mind like we always do, we try to set people straight, right? But check this out. When they attack you, when you are the victim, your reaction is going to determine the possibility of them giving their life to Christ. You see, we have to suffer. We got to suffer at the hands of men. We got to suffer at those who talk bad about us, those who ostracize us, those who criticize us. We have to deal with that as well. It's part of our makeup. Not only were we designed and created to have the victory in that creation process and in that design, guess what? We were made to suffer. Suffer, not just to be left there. but to suffer that others may see Christ. See, it's when you shed that love abroad, when someone has what? Stabbed you in the back. When someone who has lied upon you. When someone who has taken your name and scandalized it, making you appear to be opposite of what you truly are in God. Can you stand the heat? Can you stand the suffering? Can you stand being a victim? If you sit there and say no, I beg to differ. Because as long as you got Christ within, the man who suffered that you might live, you have all the power that is needed to stand when someone makes you their victim. You see? So think about that. As you go throughout the week, the months ahead, and the years ahead, think about that. You sometimes have to play the victim in order for someone to be victorious. And that victory for them is to see the need of Christ in their life. So hey, go through your storms, go through your trials, and know that God has put you on display so that others can see his goodness. So 12 kings and the rest of the kings and queens that are out there, let's stand up and let's be who God has called us to be. So until then, see you next time. This is Rodney Kirkwood, the Living Sword, signing off. God bless.
The kingdom suffering violence still, but greater is the king that's inside us, Neil. If we go through the pain with him, then we gon' reign with him, The saying is no pain, no gain, but it's really no pain, no rain. Yeah, we live as kings. It's much more than purple robes and gold rings, but a crown of